My brother-in-law owed 50 million yuan from online gambling, but he left my contact information as the person to reach. When the compound interest rolled the debt up to 100 million, those vicious debt collectors finally blocked me right at my front door. After I talked them into leaving with great difficulty, my wife and mother-in-law finally came out of the room trembling. My wife's face was completely pale with fear. Let's get divorced. I'd rather leave the house with nothing. You pay off your own debts. Don't even think about dragging me into this mess. No matter how many times I explained, it was her little brother who owed the money. She just refused to believe me. My mother-in-law even slapped me right across the face. You're just trying to trick my daughter into paying your debts. How dare you slander my son? Divorce, let's get this divorce done right now. I'll be honest with you. Ruolan is pregnant now. The baby is your good brother's. You can just forget about saving this marriage. Just get the divorce for me already. Wait, it's not like I don't have 100 million yuan. I was originally gonna ask if you needed my help to cover the emergency. How did this turn into a divorce and secret spilling scene? Fine, if that's how you want it. Then the huge debt my brother-in-law owes? You can pay it back yourselves. I asked, my voice rough and hoarse. You're carrying Shu Xinian's child. When did that happen? Zhang Ruolan turned her head and said with clear contempt, Qinghuai. So what if I am none of your business? Don't even think about begging me to stay. I don't want a loser husband like you who only gets into debt and doesn't have the guts to own up to what he did. I froze right where I stood. I couldn't get a single word out. Zhang Fengjuan saw that I was stunned and kicked me hard right in the body. Did you hear that? We're going to the Civil Affairs Bureau for divorce tomorrow. She turned around and whispered to Zhang Ruolan with a snicker. Good thing you took birth control pills ahead of time every time. You slept with this loser, otherwise this loser would have used a kid to force you to pay his debts. We originally wanted him to raise the baby, but there's no need for that now. I could barely believe my own ears. So you took the pills ahead of time every single time. We've been married for 3 years. Zhang Ruolan never got pregnant this whole time. Zhang Fengjuan said more than once in front of relatives and friends that I was a useless loser who couldn't have kids. She even forced me to get a medical checkup at the hospital. The test results showed I was perfectly healthy, and the whole thing was dropped in the end. Turns out she took birth control pills before every time we slept together. She even planned to make me a total chump who raises another man's son. Zhang Ruolan let out a cold snort. You don't even think about how your family treated me. I was already really unhappy about the bride price issue back then. Zhang Fengjuan spat on the ground. Back then for that little bride price. You dragged your feet forever before you paid it. You were so cheap and pathetic. I didn't even want my daughter to marry you back then. The wedding 3 years ago flashed through my mind. We originally agreed on a bride price of 999,000 yuan. For good luck. But on the wedding day, Zhang Fengjuan made Zhang Ruolan stay in the wedding car and demanded an extra 1 million yuan as a get-out-of-car fee. I thought that was way too much right then. But Zhang Ruolan was wiping tears in the wedding car, saying her mom only had one daughter and it wasn't easy, so I bit the bullet and paid it. Later, when we got to my front door, Zhang Fengjuan said the name-changing greeting fee couldn't be less and wanted another 1 million yen. I didn't want to pay that time. This was obviously blatant extortion. In the end, my dad made the final call, saying that a wedding is a happy occasion, and we shouldn't ruin it over money issues. So we paid the money. Luckily, my dad saw through their true colors and hid the fact that our family is worth billions. My dad also arranged the wedding to be held at the old house we lived in before we got rich. They finally stopped asking for more after taking 3 million yuan total. Zhang Fengjuan didn't give Zhang Ruolan any dowry at all, saying our family didn't deserve it. I found out later that the 3 million yuan from back then was all given to my brother-in-law Zhang Haoqing and squandered by him. My dad specifically warned me back then to keep hiding our family's wealth, saying time reveals a person's true character. That was such good advice now that I think about it. I took a deep breath, took out my phone and called Jiang Haocheng. Divorce is fine, but I'm not paying Zhang Haocheng's debt. I'm calling him right now to clear this up. But I called several times in a row, and Zhang Haocheng didn't answer any of them. Zhang Ruolan swatted my phone right out of my hand and screamed, You know, full well my brother is traveling abroad and can't answer the phone. That's why you dare to slander him. Zhang Fengjuan kicked my phone far away across the room. That's your own debt. Don't even think about making us pay it back. Who else is going to take responsibility if not you? Right at this moment, the front door was slammed open with a loud bang. Shu Xinian burst inside. His face was twisted with rage. Qin Waishu, you're a total animal. You owe a whole 100 million yuan. Zhang Ruolan threw herself into his arms. Xinian, he still dares to slander me, saying it was my little brother who borrowed the money. Xinian kissed Zhang Ruolan on the top of her head. Why don't you come stay at my place? Otherwise, next time the debt collectors come. What if they scare you and our son? Seeing the stunned look on my face, Xinian let out a sneer. What's the big deal? Where do you think Ruolan goes every time you're on a business trip? She comes to my place, of course. She slept in my bed way more times than she slept in yours. After calling me an animal, he held Zhang Ruolan's hand. The three of them left my house without looking back. I was shocked not just by Zhang Ruolan's betrayal, but also by Xinian. Xinian was my college bro. A few years back, he lost his job and asked to borrow money from me. I lent him 100,000 yuan without hesitation. Later, when he still couldn't find a job, I recommended him to a company. He slowly worked his way up to an executive position, with an annual salary of 5 million yuan, but I never told him that company belongs to my dad. I never thought this ungrateful bastard would cheat with my own wife. When I got to this part of the memory, I got a call from one of my subordinates. Mr. Qin, please come back to the company right away. I have no idea what's going on, but I hurried back to the office anyway. I saw Zhang Ruolan bringing Xinian and Zhang Fengjuan making a huge scene in my company. Zhang Ruolan was at the legal department going through procedures. Starting today, I'm no longer a shareholder of this lousy company. I'm pulling out. Xinian handed over the share withdrawal contract. Yeah, withdraw your shares fast. Then get a divorce. Then that 100 million debt has nothing to do with us. Zhang Fengjuan ran straight up to my company's clients and yelled, the boss of this company has no morals. Don't work with this company, okay? Hurry up and leave. All the clients stood up one by one, packed their stuff and walked out. Zhang Fengjuan wasn't done yet. She kept yelling at the employees at their desks. Everyone, keep an eye on your belongings. Your scumbag boss owes 100 million. He could take all your valuables and run any day. He won't even pay your salaries. When they saw me walk in, the company employees immediately put away all their valuable stuff. They started whispering to each other. So the boss owes 100 million. And he doesn't even care about his wife. Is he really going to run away with the money? I never would have guessed he's such a terrible person. Now his wife and mother-in-law are here causing trouble. Let's see what he's going to do. Even his former brother is exposing him for doing wrong. So it must be true. We should probably start looking for new jobs. I rushed inside in a hurry. What gives you the right to spread rumors and make trouble? I'll sue you for every single loss that the company suffers because of this. Xinian pretended to be righteous and upright, standing in front of Zhang Ruolan to protect her. You owe a full 100 million yuan. That's a fact. The whispering from the employees outside got even louder. They were all bad-mouthing me. Right at this moment, my mom walked in. She asked in disbelief, how is that possible? Huai Shu, didn't you just send me jewelry from the auction 2 days ago? It just hit me. I had a date with him today, to go to a restaurant for dinner after work. Zhang Ruolan let out a cold laugh. What auction? Your son borrowed money from loan sharks to buy that. You're happy now. Wait till later, you'll be crying. Good thing the baby in my belly isn't from your family. Otherwise it would suffer too. What? My mom's face was filled with shock. She grabbed Zhang Ruolan, who was walking out. What did you say? Zhang Ruolan shook off her hand in disgust. Are you deaf? I said the baby in my belly isn't yours. My mom already has high blood pressure. She stumbled backwards from Zhang Ruolan's push. She clutched her chest and collapsed onto the floor. I rushed over, held my mom up.
Mom, are you okay?
Zhang Ruolan spat on the ground. That poor old hag is just putting on a show. You're not going to fake this to extort money from us, are you? Hurry up and leave, this is so unlucky. Right after he said that, he hurriedly took Zhang Fengjuan and Xinian and walked out. Mom's face was pale. She couldn't get a single word out. Then she slowly passed out. I didn't care about anything else at that point. I picked up Mom and ran straight to the hospital. In the emergency room, the doctor examined Mom. She has high blood pressure. The emotional outburst made her blood pressure spike. She has to be hospitalized for observation. I walked out of the ward and called my dad, who was on a business trip abroad. Hello, Uncle Huai? My dad's voice came through the line. I told him everything that had happened. There was a few seconds of silence on the other end. Dad said, I'll book a flight right now and come back. They're gonna regret messing with us. You take good care of your mom. Leave everything else to me. Dad paused for a second. I'll also deal with Xinian and the Jiang family. I hung up the phone. I sat by the hospital bed. and revoked the authorization of the credit card that I gave to Zhang Rolan. That card was for Zhang Rolan to buy groceries and daily stuff. I told her she could spend up to 10K per month on it. She only knew I paid the bill for her every month. She had no idea that the actual credit limit of this card is 100 million. My phone suddenly vibrated. I got several WeChat messages from Xusinian. First were intimate photos of Xusinian and Zhang Rolan, followed by a few voice messages. Hey bro, sorry about that. You owe way too much money. I can't help you out. But I suggest you go be a gigolo to pay off your debt. Being a gigolo can also help you practice that thing, you know? Roland said you're terrible in bed. That's why she got with me. I didn't get mad, I laughed instead. I haven't treated you badly, have I? This is how you repay me. Xusinian laughed out loud. I thought you were actually some rich kid back then. That's why I became your bro. If I knew you were this loser who borrows, from loan sharks to act rich, I wouldn't have even given you the time of day. I ignored him after that, and blocked him on WeChat immediately. The next morning, I went home to pack some stuff, so I could go back to the hospital to stay with my mom. I just opened the front door, when I saw Zhang Rolan, Zhang Fengjuan, and Xusinian standing in the living room again. Zhang Rolan walked up and slapped me right in the face. You have the nerve to come back. We agreed to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau today, right? How dare you not show up? Zhang Fengjuan also kicked me. See, I was right. He just doesn't want a divorce. We agreed to get a divorce. And now he wants us to pay back his 100 million debt. I pushed them away immediately, gritting my teeth. You guys hurt my mom so bad she's in the hospital. And all you care about is the divorce. Zhang Rolan scoffed. It's your mom who's hurt, not mine. What's that got to do with me? Xusinian threw a divorce agreement in front of me. I've already drafted the agreement. Just sign your name on it. Zhang Rolan got a pen and threw it at me. I already checked with a lawyer. As long as I leave the marriage with nothing, and don't take any property from you. I don't have to take on any of your debts. Hurry up and sign it. Don't delay my wedding with Sinian. I thought this was hilarious, so I picked up the pen and signed the agreement right away. To avoid paying the debt, she's willing to leave with absolutely nothing. Well, my family's tens of billions in assets definitely won't be going to her now. Right after I said that, Xusinian came over to drag me away. Let's go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to finish the divorce. Nothing's more important than this. I shook Xusinian off. My mom's having surgery today, I don't have time for this. Zhang Fengjuan kicked me again. Cut the crap. Even if your mom kicks the bucket today, you still have to sign the divorce papers first. They forcefully dragged me out of the house, shoving and pulling me all the way to the Civil Affairs Bureau. Zhang Fengjuan was yelling nonstop the whole way, spreading lies that I owed 100 million. All the people around were watching the drama. I heard this guy owes loan sharks money. That's why his wife's divorcing him. I also heard he framed his own brother-in-law for his debt, just so he can skip out on paying it. That's so scummy. No wonder his wife and mother-in-law are doing this. If I were them, I'd dump him too. The staff adjusted his glasses and asked, have you agreed on all the terms in the divorce agreement? Zhang Rolan nodded and handed over the agreement. We've sorted everything out. I'm leaving the marriage with nothing. I have no objections. Let's go through the whole process right away. After walking out of the office door, Zhang Rolan finally broke into a smile. I'm finally free. I love you, Xusinian. As soon as the divorce cooling off period ends, we'll get married. She threw herself into Xusinian's arms and kissed him in public. Thank God I met you to start over, or this loser would have ruined my whole life. Zhang Fengjuan was even more arrogant. She shoved me hard. Get lost right now. My daughter is pregnant with Sinian's baby now. We'll live a super comfortable life from now on. We don't have to look at your poor, pathetic face anymore. I couldn't be bothered with them. I turned around and left. Xusinian pinched Zhang Rolan's waist. Then he made a phone call. Tianhai Grand Hotel. Book me a celebration banquet for 7 p.m. tonight. I want the highest standard meal package. Reserve 2 bottles of 1982 Lafite for me. He deliberately raised his voice so that I could hear every word clearly. After hanging up the phone, Xusinian said with a grin, Hey, Huaishu, we're going to celebrate tonight. Want to come along? I took a deep breath, turned around and said coldly, Get lost. Zhang Rolan said with a coquettish laugh, Sinian, stop teasing that idiot. He owes 100 million yuan right now. How dare he wander around outside? Debt collectors might come for him any minute. And he'll end up dead on the street. Zhang Fengjuan spat on the ground. He deserves it, that's karma. Right at that moment, a crowd of people suddenly rushed up behind us. The leader was a bald, burly man, followed by 7 or 8 tattooed big guys. The bald, burly man tore off his shirt and roared, Pay back what you owe. It's only right and proper. Zhang Rolan and Xu Xinian were startled by this sudden outburst. When Zhang Fengjuan saw they were debt collectors, she quickly took out the divorce agreement and said, "He's already divorced my daughter. Do whatever you want to him, kill him or hurt him. It has nothing to do with us." The bald, burly man was totally confused. He signaled his underlings to bring the person forward. "Point it out yourself." "Which ones are your family?" Zhang Haocheng was dragged in. His face was covered in black and blue bruises. He howled like a pig being slaughtered. "Mom, sis, brother-in-law, save me. I owe them 100 million yuan. If I don't pay it back today, they'll take me away." Everyone present was stunned. Zhang Rulan stammered. "Brother, what are you talking about?" "Uncle Qin Huai is the one who owes money, not you." Zhang Fengjuan rushed over to untie Zhang Haocheng, pointed at me and shouted, "You must have got the wrong person. Arrest him. He's the one you want." Xu Xinian grabbed me by the collar. "Are you even a man? You did this yourself. And you're framing Haocheng. You even sent debt collectors to arrest him." The people around started blaming me one after another. "Exactly. You got the wrong guy. He's the one who owes the huge debt. That's why they got divorced in the first place." The bald, burly man kicked Zhang Haocheng hard. "Who owes me money? Do you think I can't tell? You tell them yourself." Zhang Haocheng started howling like a slaughtered pig again. "Mom, sis, I'm the one who owes 100 million. I made a deal with them. As long as I pay the money, they won't make things hard for me. Brother-in-law paid 3 million bride price for my debts before. He definitely has more money left. Make brother-in-law help me quick." With that, he broke free from the big men and knelt down in front of me. I took out the newly signed divorce agreement and shook my head. "Your sister and I are divorced now. I'm not your brother-in-law anymore." Zhang Haocheng froze for a second, looked at Zhang Rolan and shouted, "What the hell are you doing? Such an easy sucker to milk. And you just divorced him." Zhang Rulan came over and pulled him up. "Are you out of your mind? What's the point of keeping that poor loser? His mom is lying in the hospital waiting for medical fees to save her life. Where would he get that kind of money?" Zhang Fengjuan tugged at Zhang Rolan's sleeve too, and whispered, "Go talk to Xu Xinian for us. He's a senior executive at his company now. He must have 100 million yuan, right? Tell him we want 100 million as the bride price." Xu Xinian heard what they said. His face fell instantly. He stammered and couldn't get a word out. From what I know about him, Xu Xinian is a total spendthrift. Forget about coming up with 100 million. He can't even easily get 1 million yuan together. Zhang Fengjuan got anxious. She stared wide-eyed at Xu Xinian and asked, "Don't tell me you can't come up with this 100 million. You said you were worth over 100 million before. Now you tricked my daughter into getting divorced. And you're gonna back out. Is that it?" I let out a cold snort. "That senior executive position of his probably won't be his for much longer." Zhang Rulan was furious. "Who do you think you are? Nobody asked for your opinion." Stop cursing my Xinian. To change the subject from Zhang Fengjuan's questions, Xu Xinian tried to hit me. What nonsense are you spouting? My position is totally secure. I'm even getting a promotion soon." The bald, burly man kicked Zhang Haocheng again. "I don't have time to watch you put on a show. If you don't have the money, we're taking him away." Zhang Haocheng howled in pain. "Xu Xinian, if you want to marry my sister, you gotta cough up 100 million as bride price first. Otherwise, I'll be the first to object to this marriage." Zhang Fengjuan sobbed and said, "We have the money, we have it. Stop hitting my son. Roland, hurry up and take out your money." Zhang Rulan immediately took out the credit card I gave her and handed it to the bald, burly man. "I usually use this card to buy groceries. See how much you can swipe from it. Use it for now, just stop hitting my brother." The bald man's subordinate swiped the card. The machine beeped twice. "Boss, this card really has a credit limit of 100 million yuan, but it's already locked." The bald, burly man threw the card back. "Don't take us for fools. There's money in this card, but you can only look at it, you can't spend it." Zhang Fengjuan was stunned. She grabbed Zhang Rolan at once. 100 million? Where did you get this credit card? Zhang Rolan was dumbfounded. "Uncle Huai gave me this card." "Wasn't the monthly limit 10,000 yen? How come there's so much money on it?" Zhang Rolan stared blankly at me with a complicated look in her eyes. "How do you have so much money?" Zhang Fengjuan quickly grabbed Xu Xinian. "Good son-in-law, he used to be your brother, right? He must have stolen your money somehow. You were stammering just now. Were you trying to cover for him? Let's go get the money back right now." The onlookers said, "Yeah, that must be it. Call the cops and arrest him." Xu Xinian stared at the credit card enviously, then shot me a vicious glare. No one knew what he was planning. Zhang Fengjuan walked over to me and started hitting and yelling at me. You stole Sinian's money! Hurry up and unlock this card. If anything happens to Hao Cheng, I'll kill you. I pushed her away with one hand. All this money belongs to my family. It has nothing to do with any of you. The bald, burly man finally ran out of patience. He punched Zhang Haocheng right in the head. We've been messing around for so long? Your family just doesn't have the money, huh? A bump immediately swelled up on Zhang Haocheng's forehead. We have money. My mom has a house we can use as collateral first. Zhang Fengjuan was horrified. What are you talking about? That's the house I'm gonna live in when I'm old. The bald, burly man looked at me. Mr. Lin, since you're already divorced, you can go first. He pointed at Zhang Fengjuan, Jiang Rolan, and Xu Xinian. Everyone else, the mom, the sister, and the boyfriend stay here. Xu Xinian panicked and said quickly, I have nothing to do with these people. I was just passing by. I don't know them at all. Jiang Rolan was dumbstruck. She shook Xu Xinian's arm. What are you saying? Weren't we gonna get a marriage license and have kids? Xu Xinian slapped Jiang Rolan across the face. Your brother owes so much money. You want to marry me just to drag me down. Zhang Fengjuan ran over immediately and started grappling with Xu Xinian. You goddamn bastard! You tricked my daughter's feelings and you want to run away. How dare you hit my daughter? Zhang Fengjuan is obviously no match for Xu Xinian. She got beaten up and howled in pain in no time. I was just about to leave. Jiang Ruolan dropped to her knees right in front of me. Uncle Huai, please. Save my little brother. I know you must have a way. She was sobbing, her face streaked with tears. I know I was wrong. I really know I messed up. The 30-day divorce cooling off period isn't over yet. I can back out of the divorce. I stared at her with a blank face. Ma'am? You cheated on me during our marriage. Even if you want to back out, I can still sue for divorce. Right at this moment, a loud engine roar came from the road. A fleet of luxury cars drove over. All of them are black Maybachs. Their license plates all have consecutive numbers. The fleet stopped. Over a dozen bodyguards in black suits got out. They lined up neatly in 2 rows. They bowed to me in unison and shouted, Young Master Qin, the chairman is here to take you home. Everyone around was stunned on the spot. Oh my God, I recognize this setup. These are the cars of Shengtian Group. Shengtian Group. The one with a market cap of tens of billions. Who's this young Master Qin they're talking about?
Is that Uncle Qinhui?
Zhang Fengjuan's eyes were practically popping out. She stammered. What young Master Qin? What chairman? Jiang Ruolan, still kneeling on the ground, was also dumbfounded. She stared at me blankly. Your family has such a powerful background. You've been pretending to be poor around us for so long. The door of the rear car opened. My dad got out of the car. He was wearing a crisp, high-end suit. His gaze was sharp. Dad looked at Xu Xinian. He said coldly, Xu Xinian, you're fired. The finance department already found out you embezzled public funds. We will sue you immediately. Xu Xinian glanced at me, then glanced at my dad. His face went pale. Mr. Qin, you're his father? Dad waved his hand. Come forward. 2 bodyguards stepped forward. They restrained Xu Xinian. Xu Xinian struggled and shouted, No, Mr. Qin! I know I was wrong. Uncle Huai, put in a good word for me, please. We're brothers. I looked at him with a deadpan expression. We used to be, but not anymore. Dad then looked at the bald tough guy. The money Jiang Haocheng owes you, you can collect the debt however you want. But this is a public place. Don't make a big scene here. The bald tough guy smiled obsequiously. Don't worry, Mr. Qin. We're a legitimate company. We have the IOU in the contract. That's good. Dad nodded. He turned to look at me. Your mom is ready for surgery. Let's go back to the hospital. Dad signaled the bodyguards to pull the kneeling Jiang Rolan away. Jiang Rolan was pulled up by the bodyguards. She cried and shouted, Honey, honey, listen to me. It was all Xu Xinian who seduced me. I still love you. I followed Dad and walked outside. Jiang Rolan ran after us. Honey, don't abandon me and Haocheng. Zhang Fengjuan also ran over. Right. Uncle Huai, we're family. We can talk anything out, right? Just help pay off Haocheng's debt first. We'll count it as a loan from you. We'll definitely pay you back later. I stopped in my tracks. I turned around and looked at them. Jiang Ruolan, we're already divorced. My voice was calm and I added, The baby in your belly has nothing to do with me at all. After saying that, I got in the car. The fleet drove off slowly. Through the car window, I saw Jiang Ruolan collapse on the ground. Zhang Fengjuan was still running after the fleet. In the car, Dad handed me a bottle of water. Don't worry, I'll make them pay 10 times over. Dad, What are you planning to do? I already have the evidence of Shu Xinian's embezzlement. The amount is huge. It's enough to put him in jail for several years. As for the Jiang family, I've already arranged to sue to get back the things they took. As for Zhang Haocheng's debt, I'll add fuel to the fire for them. I nodded. Back to the hospital. Mom's surgery was already completed. When she saw us come back, she broke into a smile. I've handled everything about our son. Dad held Mom's hand. You get plenty of rest. I'll take care of everything else. That night I received 4 or 5 messages from Zhang Ruolan. I opened those messages. Honey, it was all Shu Xinian who seduced me. I still love you with all my heart. Please forgive me just this once. You're also at fault for pretending to be poor, right? If I'd known your family's real financial situation, I would never have done this no matter what. I'll get an abortion right now and start over with you. But the bride price has to be 100 million yuan. Your family can definitely afford that. What do you mean by not replying to my messages? Don't push your luck and go too far. When have you ever seen me beg you before? I stared at these messages and felt a wave of disgust. I blocked her phone number immediately. 3 days later, Mom recovered enough to be discharged. I drove to the ground floor of the hospital, getting ready to pick Mom up and take her home. I just parked my car when Shu Xinian suddenly rushed out from the side and grabbed me hard. Uncle Han. He looked completely haggard, with a rough, stubbly face. Uncle Han, we've been brothers for so many years. Can you please forgive me just this once? You can even slap me in the face if you want. I frowned slightly and shook off his hand. Get lost. Who's brothers with you? I was just blind back then. Shu Xinian knelt down. I know I wronged you. But now your dad not only fired me, he's also suing me for embezzling public funds. Huai Shuo, I really know I was wrong. Ask your dad to drop the lawsuit, please. Spare me this one time. I'll agree to whatever you say from now on. Passers-by around all stopped to watch. That guy seems to be the former executive of Shengtian Group. The one who got fired for cheating. Yeah, that's exactly him. He's so disgusting. He even dares to beg young Master Qin on his knees. He deserves it. You have to pay the price for the bad things you do. I let out a cold sneer. When you were cheating with Zhang Ruolan, why didn't you think about this consequence? You brought all of this on yourself. Shu Xinian suddenly got agitated. None of this is my fault. It was all Zhang Ruolan who seduced me. She said you weren't good enough. She said you couldn't satisfy her in bed. She came on to me first. I turned around to leave, but he grabbed me tight and wouldn't let go. Uncle Huai, you can't treat me like this. Shu Xinian started crying. I still have an old mother at home to support. If I go to jail, what will happen to my mom? My voice was ice cold. I'll say this one more time. This has nothing to do with me. Let go. No, I won't let go. It's all Zhang Ruolan, this damn bitch who seduced me into doing all these wrong things. Right at this moment, a scream came from behind me. Ah, Shu Xinian! What the hell are you talking about? Zhang Ruolan also showed up. She was wearing loose clothes. Her face was pale. She could barely walk steadily. She rushed over and slapped Shu Xinian across the face. You were clearly the one who seduced me back then. You even made me take birth control pills beforehand. I got the abortion now. I want to start over with Huai Shu. If it weren't for you, I'd be the young mistress of Shengtian Group right now, worth tens of billions of yuan. She held her stomach weakly. It looked like she just had the abortion surgery. I felt another wave of disgust and stepped back 2 steps. We're already done between us. I never said I wanted to start over with you. Zhang Ruolan slapped Shu Xinian across the face again. It's all your fault. You made my husband have such a big fight with me now. Shu Xinian was stinging from the slap and slapped Zhang Ruolan back across the face. That was my child. What right do you have to abort my child? Zhang Ruolan went crazy, lunged at him and punched him several times. You have to marry me. Come up with 100 million yuan as the bride price. If you can't afford that, I would have aborted the kid anyway. The two started wrestling with each other right away. More and more people gathered around. Ugh, disgusting adulterers. These 2 cheaters are fighting each other. Come on, everyone, come watch the drama. Damn, this woman is such an absolute freak. She's totally obsessed with money. She's asking for 100 million as bride price for a second marriage. Is her pussy made of diamonds or what? Zhu Xinian's eyes turned red with rage. He gripped Zhang Ruolan's neck tightly. I'm already drowning in lawsuits myself. Where the hell would I get 100 million? Don't push me too far. It's all your fault I lost my good brother. If you hadn't worn black stockings to seduce me that night, I never would have messed up and gotten together with you. I saw things were getting way out of hand, so I stepped back 2 more steps, getting ready to call the cops. Jiang Ruolan was choking so hard she couldn't breathe. She struggled like crazy. Zhang Fengjuan suddenly rushed out from nowhere, swinging a brick at Xu Xinian. Let go of her. Do you want to kill her in front of all these people? It's all your fault, you bastard. You made me lose a great son-in-law. And you dare hit my daughter, she yelled as she kept swinging the brick. My daughter is done with you for good. She's getting remarried to Huai Shu. Everyone's eyes turned to me. I turned around to leave right away. This has nothing to do with me, excuse me. Xu Xinian tried to grab me, but Zhang Fengjuan held him back tight. He threw several punches at Zhang Fengjuan. Jiang Ruolan saw her mom getting hit. She rushed up and bit Xu Xinian's arm hard. This man is assaulting a woman in public. Everyone call the cops now. The three of them got into a wild scuffle. The whole scene turned into total chaos. More and more people gathered to watch. Someone already pulled out their phone to call the police. I saw that in the chaos. Xu Xinian punched Jiang Ruolan's stomach hard several times. Jiang Ruolan let out a sharp scream. She clutched her stomach and fell to the ground. His eyes were bloodshot. He looked like he'd completely lost his mind. He didn't say a word. He threw several more heavy punches at her. Ruolan! Zhang Fengjuan screamed. Blood started flowing out from under Jiang Ruolan's skirt. It kept flowing more and more. Everyone around was stunned. Call an ambulance now. The ground is covered in blood. Someone's dead. The cops are already on their way. My dad also came out of the hospital right then. Uncle Huai, are you all right? I shook my head. I'm fine, but... Dad let out a sigh of relief. As long as you're okay, that's all that matters. I don't care about anyone else. He quickly got the situation under control. He told the bodyguards to restrain Xu Xinian. The ambulance arrived really fast. The paramedics lifted Jiang Ruolan onto a stretcher, but Jiang Ruolan had already stopped breathing. The paramedics tried to resuscitate her for a while, then shook their heads. Her wound from the miscarriage tore open. She was losing too much blood. They couldn't stop it. She has no vital signs anymore. Zhang Fengjuan rushed over like a madwoman. Ruolan! Ruolan, wake up! The cops also arrived at the scene. They took Xu Xinian away. Xu Xinian kept staring at his blood-covered hands. It wasn't me. I didn't kill her. She ran into the punch herself. After Xu Xinian was taken away, police tape was put up around the scene. I stood at the entrance of the hospital, watching the ambulance take Jiang Ruolan's body away. I had a weird feeling I couldn't describe. Zhang Fengjuan collapsed onto the ground. She started wailing loudly. My baby girl. My daughter. Dad walked over and patted my shoulder. Let's go, the cops will handle this. I followed Dad back to the hospital ward. Mom had already packed up all her things, getting ready to be discharged. What's going on? It's so noisy outside, Mom asked. Dad shook his head. Nothing's wrong, let's go home. On the way home, Dad told me, Xu Xinian accidentally killed Jiang Ruolan. There's no way he can get away this time. Embezzlement of public funds plus manslaughter. He's getting at least a few decades in prison. I nodded. I didn't say a word. As for Jiang Haocheng, Dad paused for a second. I found out he doesn't just owe 100 million. He has other debts, too. Altogether, it's almost 20 million. He'll never pay it off in his entire life. When we got home, I could finally get some proper rest. So many things have happened these past few days. I felt completely drained. That night, I laid in bed and took out my phone. Jiang Ruolan's WeChat is still in my contacts. Even though I already blocked her, I opened her WeChat moments. The latest post was shared 3 days ago. Fresh start. Looking forward to a better future. It was paired with a photo of her and Xu Xinian. The two of them were smiling happily. I turned off my phone and closed my eyes. Early the next morning, I was woken up by a phone call. It was from the police, asking me to come make a statement. When I arrived at the police station, I described the whole incident in detail. The officer told me, Xu Xinian has been placed in criminal detention, awaiting trial by the court. Based on the evidence we have so far, Xu Xinian is suspected of negligent homicide and embezzlement of public funds. If he is found guilty, he will be sentenced to at least 30 years in prison, the officer said. I nodded. After I left the police station, I got a text from an unknown number. Uncle Qinhuai, this is Zhang Haocheng. I know my sister is dead. Can you please help me? I really have nowhere else to go. I stared at this text. I sneered. Help you? When you left my contact info after getting into debt back then, why didn't you think this would happen? I blocked this number right away. For the next few days, I stayed home with Mom to help her recover. Mom's health got much better, and her mental state was back to normal too. Dad came home for dinner every day and chatted with Mom. The locust tree, one day after dinner, Dad stopped me. We got news about Jiang Haocheng. What's wrong? The debt collectors took him to Myanmar. We haven't heard from him since. It's probably a bad sign for him. I was silent for a moment. What about Zhang Fengjuan? Dad said. She went crazy. Her daughter died, and her son is missing. She couldn't take the blow and had a mental breakdown. Now she scavenges for food at the landfill outside the city. She rambles nonsense every day. I hummed in response. I felt nothing at all. People saw her constantly, muttering that she has both a son and a daughter, and she's meant to enjoy life in old age. Dad shook his head. Those who are pitiful must have hateful traits. I nodded. This is all karma. Mr. Qin. The assistant knocked and walked in. The news about Jiang Haocheng is confirmed. He was found in a casino in Myanmar. He's already dead. I turned around. How did he die? He owed too much debt. He was beaten to death. The assistant paused for a second. His body was only found the day before yesterday. It was already decomposed. I nodded. I see. A month later, Shu Xinian's case went to trial. I testified in court as a witness. In court, Shu Xinian looked terribly gaunt. His eyes were empty. He had none of his former drive and spirit left. The judge announced the verdict. Shu Xinian was convicted of negligent homicide and embezzlement, combined punishment for multiple crimes. He was sentenced to 30 years in prison. When Shu Xinian heard the sentence, he collapsed on the defendant's stand. I walked out of the courtroom. The sunlight was glaring. I raised my hand to block it. Dad walked over to me. It's over. Yeah, it's over. 3 months later, I officially took over Dad's company and started learning how to manage it. Dad said he's getting old. It's time for me to take over. That night, I stood by the company's floor-to-ceiling window holding a wine glass, overlooking the whole city. If they hadn't thought I owed a huge sum of money back then, I would still be kept in the dark. It feels like fate played a prank on me. But it all turned out okay in the end. I smiled and downed the wine in my glass.